scorpions dropping from the ceilings, getting in through the wall. I may not have intentionally tried to kill my 1-year-old brother, but I've never done a video like this before. This is my story time with the craziest Scorpio I have ever met, who may or may not have intentionally tried to kill my 1-year-old brother, but the story starts, I'm trying to think of the month, like October of 2014. Long story short, I was like 18 or 19 and my mom and I were getting evicted or something, so we had to go live with this girl, or she was kind enough to let us stay with her. I'm pretty sure they met like through a mutual friend and we went to go stay with her. And I think like, I'm pretty sure like if she hadn't have let us in, we would have been homeless. So shout out to, let's call her Molly. I'm pretty sure like we would have been sleeping in our car or something, and we had 2 dogs. Go to this person's house, and I live in Las Vegas, and this was kind of a very sketchy area of Las Vegas. I wouldn't necessarily say it was bad. It was like close to the strip, but it was like in one of those like cul-de-sac areas or neighborhood areas where it doesn't look safe. So we get to the house and I remember like sitting down in the living room, and she was very quiet. She was really like a pretty girl, early 30s or something, and she was really serious. And my mom was like crying, or my mom was like talking about everything with her. My mom gets very dramatic, so she was going on a rant or something. My mom wasn't working at the time, I'm pretty sure, or she like was, but she wasn't making a lot of money. I don't really remember the details, but established like how much we would both pay or something. I was like just turned 19, but have lived with my mom my whole life, so I didn't really know anything about like roommates or anything like that. And I think like at the time I worked at Kabuki, which is this like sushi restaurant. I was a hostess there and I was part-time, so I made $300 every 2 weeks. Didn't know this person. My mom brought me here. Was thankful. I actually really liked this girl. She seemed very, I don't want to say like weird, like she wasn't, in my head I didn't really get weird vibes. I just thought she was very like youthful and down to earth and eclectic. I don't know, like she seemed like she was into a lot of like unusual stuff, like lifestyle stuff, but I didn't really think anything of it. I grew up in a very like, my mom is like a hippie, so I grew up with a lot of like different things that I feel a lot of people would say are weird. So I don't know, I was just very open-minded. I don't know, I don't care. And she was like, okay, well then give me $300 a month for your rent, and you'll stay in the like makeshift house outside. It was almost like a guest house, but it was, I don't even know what to call that actually, because a guest house is like a built living environment, and this was like something that they had just like a shoddy, like they had just went to Home Depot, bought some walls and like made something. It wasn't like constructed with the house she was living in. I think it was like an art project she was doing, so it was just like out there, like it was a shed, but they turned it into like a living situation. And this was, I don't know, at the time I didn't think anything of it. Truthfully, I was excited because it was like my first real like, you know, thing, like living, like I felt like independent because it was like secluded, it wasn't in the house. And at the time my mom was moving in with my 1-year-old brother and my 2 dogs, so it was like all of us. And so like this was away from the house, and it was like peaceful in a way because it was like my own domain. I felt so independent and like, I don't know, I was stupid. But, so she was like, I need $300 a month, which at the time I thought was fair, even though looking back, considering like how little I made and knowing the living situation that I ended up being in, I don't think it was now, but we'll get into that. So, so I get into this little makeshift shed. It has a scorpion infestation. And I'm not like being dramatic, like it wasn't like 1 or 2 Scorpios I would see like occasionally. It was like, did I just say Scorpio? I meant to say scorpion. It was literally like scorpions dropping from the ceilings, getting in through the walls. Like it was just a thing, like that's just how it was. And I lived there for 2 to 3 months in this living situation where I was paying $300 for this makeshift shed that was like infested with scorpions this whole time. And I was bit at one point while I was sleeping. One time I had like a soda beverage in the room and I was drinking it, and then I looked down and I noticed like a scorpion had just fallen into it, because it was just like, that's how much of a problem this was. And I still like gave money for rent. Like I still, you know, I did what I was told to do. Like I didn't question it. I was just like, okay, like this, at least it's my independence because it's my own little space. Like I was just really stupid about it. And that's not even the part of the story that's crazy about this girl. Throughout this time, preface, she was a sex worker, she was a dancer at a strip club, and I don't really care because growing up my mom was on and off my whole life, so like I just don't care. Like that's not an issue for me, like that's not something that bothers me, but I'm just only sharing that information to give some backstory on like how the environment was in the house. She would do that, and then she would do like other stuff, and like random people would come and go from the house, and I didn't mind that. Like I didn't really care. I think like one time though, like there were like a group of guys that were staying in the house, and like I just wanted to get a lock for my little makeshift shack because I just like didn't know these people and didn't want to, and felt kind of uncomfortable. So my boyfriend got me a lock, because it was like not even a lock, it was just like something to like keep the little shack gated. I would start to kind of be annoyed because she would know like my boyfriend's on the way over, and she would like never wear clothes. And like I wasn't that, like I wasn't like jealous or anything, like I wasn't like annoyed, I was just kind of like, what are you doing? Like why? Oh yeah, and she also said she was a witch. She was also really into astrology. Fun fact, she was the first person to show me an astrological chart. Like I would literally not be doing this right now if I hadn't even discovered that chart that she showed me. So like there were so many cool things about her. Looking back, like when I'm telling you this story, like it sounds crazy though, but like she said she was a witch, she said that she spoke to demons, like she said all this stuff, and I was just kind of like, okay, I mean, you know, to each their own. She would ask my boyfriend and I to drop her off at the club at night that she worked at, but she would insist on like driving, and while she was driving she'd be like holding like some like straight vodka and just like chugging it. And even though like we were both kind of like, we're both like really, my boyfriend and I are like really polite, awkward people, like we're not that confrontational at all, so like we're not gonna tell someone, hey, like, but we were also a lot younger than we are, also like we weren't as confrontational or like vocal as we are now, because we were like 19 and 21, so we were just more shy and quiet and awkward. But yeah, she would just like drive to the club chugging straight vodka, and I used to think she was so cool. Like I was like, wow, what a badass. But I don't know, but like looking back, like that was crazy, that was wrong. I don't know why I didn't question that. I was just blindly loyal, I guess, to this person because I felt like they were nice to take us in. And on top of all of that, the actual grit of the story, my actual issue with her, because, you know, living in a scorpion infested shack and being charged $300 a month to stay in that, while it doesn't get addressed, but I'm being told it's supposed to be addressed while I'm getting bitten in the middle of my sleep with scorpions, you know, that wasn't an issue. It was like right around Christmas time, my mom and her started to fight, and my mom is like a very difficult person to live with in general. She's just very vocal and openly herself, which is great, but this person was also the same way. Okay, how do I say this? My mom's an Aries. This person is a Scorpio. You know, so... and I remember my mom told her she could use my mom's car because she used to use my mom's car, and then they got mad at each other, and then I guess Molly was told she couldn't use the car, and then from that moment she went crazy. Okay, she was already crazy though. Like a week before this she had met someone, and then like 2 days later they were engaged, and that was just a thing. While she was like still seeing other people, I don't know, but I don't even think he knew about it, so I don't know. It was just the whole thing. But they stopped talking, and I would come home from work, or I would just be around in my little scorpion infested shack, and she would start building things in the house, like building walls. Like she started like sawing holes into the hallway and building walls to keep my mother in an isolated area of the house that she could, like, so she couldn't access the kitchen or the living room or anything like that. And this person who, Molly, this person, like, she didn't own this house. Like, this, she was like renting it or something, and the actual landlord, like the person that had their name on the house, didn't know about any of these alterations she was making. She just literally like started making a wall in the house. She literally Donald Trumped us and just started building walls and keeping my mom in this isolated area. And I wasn't even mad at this point. I was just like, okay, they're having drama. Clearly I have issues with judgment. But then I remember like what started to piss me off was my brother's like first Christmas. But we had just like set up the Christmas tree, and this girl doesn't celebrate Christmas. She used to, but now she doesn't, so she's kind of like screwed. She doesn't celebrate Christmas. That's fine. She only celebrates like Halloween because she's like a practicing witch or something. But I don't even think the way that she was practicing like witch, I don't know. It was just, she doesn't do it. And so we set up a Christmas tree in the house because we wanted to give my brother a Christmas. Like, it wasn't even for us. And we came back after Christmas shopping that night, and she had taken the tree down and put all of our stuff outside, other than like a back way to the house that you could only access the room my mom was renting, because she had built walls to isolate us in a specific area that she wasn't even allowed to be building. And after that, we started to try to like figure out how we could leave, because instead of just like evicting my mom, she was just doing weird stuff. She was just like bullying her, it felt like. And the thing that makes me the angriest to this day is when she put bath salts in the air conditioning system, or like the fan in the house, to try to make us like cough and make us sick so that we would want to leave. Like, she was messing with the air so that like we would want to get out of the house, you know. And I really don't care. Like, do what you want to me. Like, put me in a room with infested scorpions everywhere. Put me, you know, make me broke, make me homeless. I don't care. Do what you want. Take whatever I have and throw it outside. I don't care. But then when it comes to like my 1-year-old innocent little baby brother, who I heard coughing in the next room because she was putting stuff in the freaking air system to try to make us sick, to make us want to leave. I was so angry. Like, I was just, are you serious? Like, that's okay to you? Like, everything else, you know, I was just blindly accepting. I was okay with her, you know, doing all of that stuff. She was just, I never questioned it. But when she tried to like go after an innocent child like that, definitely, no matter what now, she will always be the craziest story, the craziest Scorpio I have and will probably ever meet, because she genuinely tried to like suffocate my brother. He was a baby. Like, his passageways were not that strong. I mean, I don't even know what she put in the air to this day. That was my crazy story, my craziest Scorpio story. If you have a crazy Scorpio story or other zodiac sign story, comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you think that I was being dramatic. Tell me if you think that I was wrong to be offended by this. I mean, you can defend, you know, hurting innocent children. That's fine. We eventually moved out. I now don't even live with my mom. I live with my boyfriend and have been for 4-ish years. And please subscribe if you haven't already. If you guys liked this, if you even felt that this was entertaining or interesting, let me know and I will do more videos like this. And I will see you in my next video.